Welcome everyone to our Lifestyle Optimization for Executive Functioning series. Today we're talking about exercise. No, not the exercise you're picturing right now in a gym, really acute physical exercise. I'm talking about the relationship between physical exercise and cognitive ability that has been researched, and really there's a plethora of studies, scholarly articles you can read about this positive correlation. And I know we're used to thinking about the nerd who can barely stand, and then the kid who's really good at sports, who's really not smart. And that dichotomy couldn't be further from the truth. And so, let me ask you, have you ever wished that your child could plan their homework effectively without you and follow through without you having to nag? Have you ever wished they controlled their emotions better and their emotional outbursts better? And have you ever wished that they were able to really stay on task and focus and sort of like self-regulate and find motivation within themselves to start and finish a task? All of this is linked really to executive functioning. And so there is a plethora of articles and studies that were led and that really conducted and established positive correlation between physical activity and cognitive functions. So, the first study I want to refer to is called Associations Between Daily Physical Activity and Executive Functioning in Primary School Age Children. Effectively, right, elementary schools, when we first notice the lags in executive functioning, but basically what was tested before and after a set of regular physical activity, like a physical activity routine, was, executive functioning tasks such as, inhibition, right, how well you can control yourself. The working memory, which is also linked to executive functioning, and also cognitive flexibility, as well as ability to plan, right, with the exercise called Tower of London. And what was found was that the sedentary children were not performing as well as the children who benefited from physical activity during the span of the test. And so, yes, we tend to think that those kids, those gifted kids, those nerdy kids, they can barely stand, they're just so nerdy, right? But it's time to revisit that thought and that preconception. Now, the second study I want to refer to is called Modeling Relationships Between Physical Fitness, Executive Functioning, and Academic Achievement in Primary School Children. Again, it's been researched that physical activity was correlating with academic achievement, but this study really is showing that in between, so you have physical activity and then you have academic achievement, and in between is executive functioning skills enhancement. And so what the physical activity did was just enhance executive functioning, which led to better academic achievement. And so this is really interesting to consider, right? Executive functioning is the cause for academic achievement. Now, there's another study I want to refer to, and it's called Effects of a Cognitively Demanding Aerobic Intervention During Recess on Children's Physical Fitness and Executive Functioning. So what they did was they put two groups of kids into a 22-week physical activity testing, right? So one group was tested, they benefited from physical activity during recess and school lunchtime. And then the control group did not. And what was tested again was the battery of neuropsychological tests for executive functioning. And so specifically measuring inhibition, working memory, again, cognitive flexibility, and planning. And again, specifically inhibition and working memory were really fields where the children benefiting from physical activity were outperforming the other ones. And so it's really time to let go of the idea of like, you will enhance, that you think you will enhance your child's focus by preventing them from moving. This is simply not true. It's been researched over and over again, and letting them move actually allows them to memorize better, make sense of things better, and basically just use their executive functioning and just like practice their executive functioning. I also want to reference another study that was really pivotal for me, and it was this is effect of acute exercise on executive function in children with ADHD. This study actually tries to make sense and point to a cause of why physical activity would do such wonders. And basically this is pointing to when you do exercise, you need to allocate attention resources, right, to perform the task that you're asking your body to do, right? And so it allocates attention resources. One, it influences the prefrontal cortex in order for this attention to be allocated effectively. And then the third thing is it implicates, it induces dopamine. So it creates that, it enhances basically dopamine release in your brain. Finding a way to release this dopamine naturally, because it's very, very naturally, right? Exercise is a very natural artifact, if you will, that you can use to help with the dopamine circuit inside your child's brain. And this was really eye-opening for me. Now, there are other studies that compare basically what they call the heart rate biofeedback, which is basically just the biological feedback of when your body is involved in exercise, right? It's providing the body with a heart rate biofeedback, right? So it's telling the body how it's doing while it's doing the task, right? While it's doing exercise, you have biofeedback coming to your body. And this is highly involved in self-regulation. And so it's been studied, and not a lot of studies are looking into like comparing the benefits of exercise with the benefits of meditation practices, like meditation based interventions they call, or let's just say like self-compassion, self-gratitude based interventions, but they're very, very similar. And the reason is I found very interesting, and it's because when you exercise, you actually have to devote everything you have, all the attention you're capable of, to perform this task, right? You need to tell your muscles to do something, you need to tell your breath to function optimally, and then you have biofeedback, right? And your heart to beat optimally for your body to be able to perform this task. And so it's very, very similar to a mindfulness exercise, because it's really engaging your entire body in the moment. It's engaging your entire body in the present. And then all of a sudden, you don't have so much attention to devote to ruminating and anxiety and depression, right? Which is a wonderful thing. Again, all done naturally. And we have an entire module in our course, Champion a Gifted Child, devoted to crafting strategies to naturally enhance executive functioning. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is that exercise is a powerful relief for stress, and we live in a chronic stress that has been researched again to have so many negative impacts in our body, right? It literally affects our body. And one way it does that, right? One way stress is really harmful to our body is that it keeps releasing cortisol. Right? So we produce cortisol that floods our entire body when we are under stress, when we think a danger is about to come into us, right? And when it's chronic, when it's never released, this cortisol has very negative impact on our health, on physical health, I mean, right? Not only mental health, but physical health. And so what exercise does, it allows cortisol to be released from your body. And so when you see your kid moving and like doing this, it's because they're trying to release cortisol they're having in their body right now. And so I know one of our instincts and what we have been taught to do is to contain the child and prevent the child from moving. But it couldn't be actually further from the most efficient way to doing things, because they need to move to release their stress. Exercise is the best way to do that. And so with this, you have so much to help them with executive functioning, but not only their anxiety, their chronic stress, their trauma, their depression even, right? And so what a wonderful thing. Again, it's a natural thing that we should leverage. And so my last question is, again, don't you wish sometimes, you see your child, performing those executive functions, having the patience, having the grit to follow through, having the ability to plan, having the ability to go through their homework without you, intervening all the time. Because if you do, and you really believe your child, in your child's ability to do it, then you are right. We just need to figure out a way to embed some physical activity in their day-to-day, right? Some physical activity. It doesn't have to be 5 times a week, an hour and a half to 2 hours. It could just be stretching their legs, playing outside in the yard, just releasing the cortisol, just enjoying their body, and basically enhancing their executive functioning naturally. So here's my question to you. Are you making stress relief and physical activity now a top priority in those times? Are you? And then if so, what are your strategies? I would love to hear. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, like, share this video, and then we will see you very soon.